So what we have here are aluminum plates that the previous owner installed underneath the mast step right there. These are down in the bilge, and he installed them because the mast is aluminum and the mast step is stainless steel. And what happened over 10 years or 15 years of owning the boat is that the aluminum mast down there in the bilge with all the salt corroded, and he ended up having to cut off really like a bottom inch of the mast, a bit more than an inch. And after cutting that off, he couldn't just reinstall the mast. That 1 inch makes a big difference in the sail fit. So he ended up putting all these aluminum plates that you see around here underneath the mast step, and bolting it all back down. And they, of course, now they're aluminum touching stainless, making a giant battery, real big battery, and you can see how much they corroded over time. And it's not just corrosion, by the way. These things smell horrible. When I pulled up this mast step, I had a little bit of trouble keeping my breakfast down when the smell hit me right in the face. And it's definitely part of the contributor of the stench to the boat was I don't know if it was just the whatever was in the water getting in there and rotting, because you see some black stuff here, or I don't know what it is. But even sitting here now, I'm a little downwind of it. That's probably why it smells so bad. I'll go back here upwind, and it stinks. But it stinks like a combination of the way your refrigerator stinks if power's gone out and you left it for, say, 8 years, and also there's a metallic smell to it, or it's the aluminum. There's a smell to aluminum. Look at that, it rotted. You can see it corroded right through. You can see that. So in addition to this corroding through, the plates were getting thinner and thinner as they corroded away. So it's the keel bolts. There's 4 keel bolts that come up through that also hold the mast step on, and they weren't hand loose, but they definitely weren't tight. That's 4 out of, I think it's 9 keel bolts that were way under torqued, and it holds your mast on. That's one thing, but it also holds your keel on, which is another. And you see actually the mast step here is broken. When I dropped this off of the, I think he had this refabbed in, that's aluminum. That's right, he had this refabricated in aluminum to not rot out the mast, but it's Monel keel bolts and nuts and washers that came through, and you can just see how the galvanic corrosion just ate the mast step away. Also, the washers that were sitting on top of here under the nuts are really deformed. I'm going to go show you those in a second. So those are the washers and the nuts. The nuts are Monel. They're in still great shape. I'll clean those up. They'll be fine. Obviously, the washers, they cannot be reused. So those will get fixed. I turned the fans off in here, which is not making it easy because, like I said, I know I whine about the smell a lot, but jeez. So this will all get cleaned out, and then I'll inspect underneath those washers there, and put this back on. Now, because obviously I'm going to not have a mast step there, I got a lot of extra space to work with. Another thing that bothered me was that because they raised up using all those aluminum plates, I should have taken a shot of this before I took it apart, but I didn't. Some of the nuts, there's an inch of material that was up here plus the mast step, not the design. So they couldn't get the nuts back on here fully. There were a couple of nuts that were only 3/4 engaged to maybe 5/6 engaged, and that is just not a great way, I think, to hold on your mast. I'm looking at this one here. I'll end up cleaning that one up too. I'll take them all off. But there's a keel smile. He ran aground like the first year he had it, and there's been a separation between the keel and the hull on the outside. It's obvious. And so I want to make sure I torque all these in appropriately before I go and do work to finish that up. So that's not where the mast is going to go, right? So I don't need that anymore. The mast is going to go somewhere up there. Here's the, you can see the hatch. Straight down from the hatch is going to be, and right in this area is going to be the new mast step. And it's going to be built up of many layers of plywood and fiberglass tabbed, probably with 1708 biaxial cloth. Alternate that and just regular fabric cloth. So I get all the forces distributed, and really, if I do alternating layers of that between every other layer of plywood, I'll be distributing all those forces into, 8 different directions into the hull, and then that should definitely do it. And I just bought a book on Gerr, Gerr, this book on scantlings and boat strength, I think it's called, something about boat strength, to give me a sense of how big these these beams are going to be, that I need to put ring beams all the way around here in order to support the mast. And also just making sure that I'm doing it right for the bulkheads. For instance, this bulkhead here is very big, but this one, I believe, was, the whole reason that was so large, there's the other side of it, was to distribute those deck forces. So maybe that's what I should be using over here too. But I'd rather use some sort of laminated open beam to keep the look open enough. And I'll end up putting bulkheads back there, probably at the exact same spot, the bulkhead where the chain locker is. And then there was a bulkhead here and here, but they didn't run all the way up. So that chain plate knee is going to come out. And really, when I do the redesign, I think that much of this is going to get shifted forward. So this bulkhead here is really going to get moved to about where that knee is. Same with on the other side, because aft, the galley is going to come forward a little bit, and over here we're going to have, that's where the head is going to be, and then I'm going to end up putting a nav table forward of the head, and then the settee's got to move in, so that's all going to get slipped forward. If I leave this area the way it is, I can still move that bulkhead forward. Leave the settee may be able to fit back against the galley without moving it much, but if I move this bulkhead forward to where that knee is, that'll give me space right here to put the like a reflex stove for heating. So that's the general plan. I think I just went onto 2 different subjects just because it was available, but there's the mast step, stinky. There are the washers, gotta go. Bye.